What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Collective Comics and Lights Comics Action Podcast. We're diving into episode 48.9.
48.9.
48.9 because I messed up. I went and edited the whole pod, and about 20 minutes ago, we realized that we never uploaded it. So we kind of have a lost episode 48 that might come out a little late.
Yeah. Whatever. Let's just do 48 tomorrow.
There we go.
And then we'll do 49 on like Friday.
Yeah, let's do that.
Boom, nailed it. Big decisions.
A couple things kind of went down in the podcast when we were talking dates, which aren't going to be necessary anymore, but all those things happened and they went pretty well.
Right.
And
Yeah.
We're successful.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about those. Yeah,
Yep. We I know that we discussed the comic trade night, and I know it's not the first podcast that we discussed it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was all excited, and I was like, yeah, Jake was talking about it. Jake was getting excited, and then I was like, Jake's going to go, and you're out of town again.
Yep. I said at Black Hole Comic Con, I was like, I'm coming to the next one. And then Jeremy was like, it's this day. I'm like, I'm not going to be here.
Now that you're saying that, I remember it.
Yeah.
And I was like, aw, I missed you. I missed you.
Hopefully November.
Well, don't feel too bad, because for this trade night, for whatever reason, I was the only person that showed up.
September. I feel like there was a lot of stuff going on that day.
That's funny. Because we were all thinking about that, and then we kind of looked it up, and there was like Scarecrow Fest happening like an hour away.
Really? Well, we're trying to
figure out
Fest.
like what happened,
It's funny because I immediately went to like Scarecrow from Batman, like just everybody celebrating him.
Right? That would be actually really, really cool. But no, this is just, I don't even know exactly entirely what Scarecrow Fest is. I kind of want to go and find out though.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was also the first day of fall, so I'm sure there's a lot of stuff like that going on.
It's officially fall?
Yeah, I think Saturday was that you were bringing in fall at Galactic Regs.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just like, comic trade night, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Dang, man. But it was super cool. Me and Jeremy hung out for a little bit and talked comics, and we actually made a little trade.
There you go.
Made a little trade. I ended up trading him a couple Last Ronin Lost Years, issues 1 through 4, with the exclusive covers of the new Turtles. And I traded him for ASM 52.
There it is.
And Venom 9 from, I think it was 2018 now, King in Black.
I feel like I want to go to one, but I'm probably not going to do much. You know what I mean? I'll be like, Javier, is this a good deal? Javier, hey, is this good?
Right. Yeah, that's the tricky part, because sometimes there's definitely we had this conversation. You just got to kind of watch it sometimes, because you're like, did he clean this book? Did he press this book? Why doesn't it have a smell? What's going on here?
I'm
like, do you press books? No. And you're like, what's going on here?
I really wanna just like show up with a short box like taped shut and be like, this is what I'm trading. What do you guys got? They can lift it up. They can look in the handle holes and stuff. But it's mystery. It's a big mystery box.
It's just a couple bricks.
Yeah. I just put a comic on the front and the back and just fill it up with sand.
Yeah. But you know what? I've seen what you got. I might just take you up on that deal.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm like somewhere in the middle. You know what I mean? I don't have like great stuff. I don't have like horrible stuff. I have some horrible stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's horrible. It's just like modern. I have a lot of modern stuff.
Yeah, you're like the cool cool cover guy.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, pretty much.
I guess I'm at the shop becoming the modern exclusive guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what Jeremy says. He's like, "Did you always have like these awesome exclusive?" It's because of Whatnot. So I just bring my Whatnot inventory over there and be like, "Yeah, what do you want?" You know. So and I've been talking to him about it, and it was cool because, I probably could have gotten more out of the trade, but I let him know. Like, I was like, "Dude, this is from Whatnot. I bought this stuff in a collection, so it ended up going out to, really, really cheap per book." So we ended up working out a pretty sweet deal, and he got a lot of good comics, and I very happy hole filled in my ASM collection. We were talking, and I was like, dude, the Silver Age stuff goes right in my PC. The old Spider-Man right in the PC, and then that'll never see Whatnot. I don't know. Whatnot doesn't do that well with Silver Age and old books.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but yeah. I guess I'm the modern exclusive guy, but it's a lot of fun over at those trade nights.
Yeah, I want to go to one.
Yeah, he needs
to stop having them when I'm out of town.
Right, dude. There's this one kid, and he always brings I think it's like a 6.0 copy of ASM 129, and I want it so bad, dude. I want it so bad. I forget what it was. For some reason, I thought he had a 9.8, but I might be thinking of something else. But that's like a $10,000 book,
Yeah.
But yeah, ASM 129 is the first appearance of the Punisher.
Right.
Yep.
I'm gonna get him with the mystery box and be like, hey, one comic for a box of comics.
He's gonna be like, is there $1,600 at least in there?
Yeah, right.
Something like. Is there $1,000 cash in that box?
It's just a not graded like slab from 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Just a big old NG on that thing. Right on.
ASM 129.
So some big news is coming out right now.
Big. I'm excited.
Yes. So the Writers Guild and the Performers Guild are reaching tentative agreements. So the end could be close. The end could also be very far away. I know everybody's like posting thumbnails. I don't know what our thumbnail is gonna be yet, but everybody's posting thumbnails like the strike is over. The strike is over.
Yeah,
it's not over.
That's
yet.
A lot of what I'm seeing.
Yeah,
it's technically. There's technically very good word, because they at least reached an agreement on. Once again, we're talking about streaming and the use of AI in scripts and in edits and stuff like that. I think,
and just pay and general work, like habitats, work environments, and all kinds of stuff. I did see. So the Writers Guild has not put much of anything out yet. They said that they're basically reaching a tentative agreement. No, nothing's final. They're not going to put out too many details until they have more, like final word on what's going on.
Right. I guess what is happening, and I don't know if this is. Last time I ended up looking this up was because today is Tuesday. I looked this up on Sunday, and they hadn't reached an agreement yet. But I'm also looking at an article right here that this is the final weekend of negotiations, and lawyers are presenting their alleged best and final offer on Saturday night.
Yeah, I think
this Saturday. This Saturday is the best and final offer.
I think we're in kind of a weird spot though too, because I saw like the Performers and Actors Guild has basically greenlit like independent stuff. So like independent films, like things like that, smaller stuff, everybody can go to work on. Like everybody's good, like go to work on it. but anything that's in conjunction with a big studio or a streaming service, it still has the red light from the guild. So I think what they're trying to do is kind of show, like, hey, like, you think like you pull all the strings, but like we can do it without you, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's avenues in which like you can get stuff made and make stuff without a big studio at this point. You know what I mean? So if we can have a successful independent project, then what do you have to offer? Because if you're not offering the right stuff, then we'll just keep making it independent. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now
I think at a certain point that the answer to that question would be that they have the platforms and the audience and the streaming service, which is really what's I don't know, I guess you could say the main protagonists.
But if you don't have any big names, like, what do you have? You know what I mean? Because, like, just for an example, like, if Ryan Reynolds went and made one of his movies independently and everybody goes to see it, like, what are you going to offer me? Like, Ryan Reynolds starts Mint Mobile streaming service. You know what I mean?
Right.
Makes a Deadpool quality movie and doesn't have any help from anybody, and he's, raking it in at the end of the day. Obviously, he pays who he needs to pay and takes care of who he needs to take care of, but, he doesn't have a studio in his pocket.
Right.
Which,
I don't know, would you say that would be a better thing, a good thing?
Well, I think
if that was more how it was, because it feels almost like if that's what it came down to, were these big names going fully independent, and they kind of have the budget and at least the credit line and bank loans to be able to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Realistically, they probably don't have a limit on their credit cards.
Well, I think
somebody like Ryan Reynolds, you know what I'm saying? So he has the resources to be able to go and make the movie. Like what's gonna happen to like really small people? Like I follow like Adam Devine and the dude I forget his actual last name, but he plays Anders in Workaholics.
Oh yeah.
And I listen to their podcast, and I follow all three of them on social media, and they're very heavily, involved in the background of a lot of other projects, with whether it be directing, but they do a lot of writing. So they've been on complete, hiatus. But that's how they got their start, was they were just writing their own thing, and then finally got picked up with Workaholics.
Yeah, I mean,
by
Workaholics
Comedy
was
Central.
all of them. Yeah, and Kyle Newacek, who played the drug dealer. What was his name? Kyle? Or
Yeah.
no, not Kyle.
No. I'm forgetting.
Yeah, I'm not gonna remember his name.
It's been a minute since I've actually watched the show. Not gonna lie, I need to go and binge it again.
But I mean, even look at something like Happy Madison. Talking about like the Workaholics guys. Adam's been in some Happy Madison stuff lately.
Mm-hmm.
You telling me like, I mean, I don't know like the specifics of Adam's like deal with Netflix or how long that is or what that looks like or anything like that. But you telling me Adam Sandler can't take Happy Madison and make a streaming service and put all of his stuff out independently and still make the money that he's making? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah, I feel like Adam Sandler just owns Sony at this point.
and then like I feel like this can go one of two ways. You know what I mean? Either people are going to start doing like independent stuff and it's not going to go anywhere, or they're going to go like the sky's the limit, and then they're really going to have that in their back pocket. Like, you said we couldn't do this without you. We're doing just as good without you, if not better. Like, you better sweeten the pot, otherwise we're not coming back. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Why would you?
Yeah, I feel like that's a big thing, and you see a lot of it because we always correlate this stuff to the music industry. We see a lot of it kind of happening in the music industry as well, with a lot more bands fully going independent. I saw even Green Day At first, I remember them getting asked the question like 10, 15 years ago. And they're like, "Can you do it without a label?" And they're like, "Nah, maybe." You know, they were very behind like the backing of the label, and I
Mm-hmm.
mean the business that they have, and you know they're Green Day, so I'm sure it's actually very great business coming from their label, and their backs are scratched and they're paid and all the good stuff. Um, but now they're ever since the last record they put out, I'm pretty sure the next record is going to be fully independent,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not going to be signed to a label, which is pretty insane.
Yeah, I mean, it got so ridiculous with how bad the label like contracts got. You know what I mean? It's like
Mm-hmm.
they own the cereal that you eat in the morning. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's like they own the sound, like the clip of you chewing. Like that's theirs. They own everything. You know what I mean?
yeah. They own. They technically like when you're a singer, they own your voice,
Yeah.
and it was a there was yeah with my band there was an issue where we had somebody feature on a song, and their label was like, no way, they did it for free, and he did, and they were like, well, we own his voice, so we want royalties and all this other stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a big thing, and that was the first time I realized that you're kind of like a product to the man
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
at
look
that
at
point.
especially these people who don't like write anything. You know what I mean? Because then
Mm-hmm.
you have a writer, you have the producers, you have the label, you have all this, and then the person that you think is making all the money off of it, they just have performing rights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then if the label basically owns their tour, then they're not making money off of touring, they're not making money off of merch, they're not making money off of being in the studio. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like,
And then the venues are taking cuts of merch.
right, yeah, like there's nothing that you're not making any money. Like it's not like this glorious life that you think it is.
All right.
And I feel like this strike that hopefully is over soon is kind of like the writers and the actors and everybody involved like way of being yo, we're not gonna go that route. You know what I mean? We're close
Right.
enough already. Pump the brakes. Like we're working. Like pay us. If you're not
Yeah.
gonna pay us, then we'll take our work somewhere else.
Yep. And I don't know, lots of big money, lots of I don't know, lots of big creators not working, which is crazy. And you know, there was one thing that was posted in the New York Times article. That was the first article that to get posted about this whole thing in the first place. And I know that throughout this whole thing, because I feel like there's probably been like 3 or 4 podcasts specifically about this strike that we've talked about now.
Oh yeah, our podcast. I'm like, there's a lot more than 4 podcasts, but yeah,
Oh, no, no, no,
of ours, yeah.
yeah, like 4 Lights Comics action episodes, especially because it kind of directly involves exactly what we talk about. You know,
Hmm.
especially with the TV shows and the movies, and we're getting them so quick, and then everything got put on hold so fast, and got
Yeah.
moved up, and then put on hold again. Um, there was one part in it about halfway through. I guess if we're marking this the end, it was about halfway through. The actors decided to jump in
Hmm.
on the strike in support of the writers,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah, and
know, and
the studio's answer was like, we'll just make you out of AI. Just we'll give you a lump sum and like you'll never have to work again. It's like, no, you're not gonna own me. Like
yeah,
exactly like the music side of things.
yeah. So that opened up a whole nother thing with AI. Um, I found out I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast. Fun fact that 50%, if not 60 to 80% of his advertisements, like audio advertisements online, are done by AI. They just take his voice that from a podcast and throw
Hmm.
it in a thing and say, "Make Joe Rogan say this," and
Yeah.
it spits it out. And he's like, I don't gotta work." He's like, "I just get paid." I was like, "What, dude?"
Yeah. All of like the talk show guys, like Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, John Oliver, and Stephen Colbert, they started a podcast during this, basically in support of their employees because nobody's working. So like all of the money that they make goes directly to like their employees. And they did some ad reads and they were like very like upfront about it. I thought it was kind of cringy, but like they did some ad reads with AI and they're like, this is what we have to look forward to, like if this strike doesn't work out. You know what I mean? Like then it's like you don't even need permission. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the right piece of paper is signed and there goes you. You know what I mean? You don't even exist anymore, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah, at a certain point, I mean, like, how many more Elvis songs can be written now? Just say, like, make Elvis Presley say this, you know, or something. Michael Jackson songs, even, you know, you can finish old songs that they didn't, which I wouldn't mind hearing. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, I talk about this all the time with, you know, people that I talk to, and I'm like, pretty much everything in my life that I've ever worked towards or wanted to work towards or I'm interested in doing, or, you know, all of it, it's all kind of just being taken by AI at this point. You know what I mean? You don't need to pay. You people are using AI and they're calling themselves graphic designers. They're using AI. They're calling themselves authors. You know what I mean? And musicians. And it's like, and I feel like we've talked about this before. Like, I feel like there's a line between like using it as a tool and using it to like basically replace an industry. You know what I mean? I feel like finding that midpoint, finding that like sweet spot is like what we need to do. Otherwise, especially like all these people who are like, this person owns everything. I mean, you think they own everything now.
yeah,
Like,
right?
they're gonna own everything. Like, they're not gonna have to hire anybody.
Yeah, because, like, I mean, how many voice actors are we fans of? That, like, we literally just described their entire job, which is speaking into a microphone, and now they can just go, make this sound like this character, or like make this sound like this type of voice, and boom, you got it done. As a voice actor, you know, realistically.
I mean, the scariest part is too, it's like this is coming down from big studios. You know what I mean? Like they're going to do it now and ask for permission later, like unless we do something about it. You know what I mean? They have the money for lawsuits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I feel like a lot of these times, like it's gonna cost them less to like settle out of court for this situation than it would have been to like hire somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially
at the end of the day, you know, because they spend so much money on it, and then they generate so much money.
Yeah, especially seeing as the person is either going to have to pay court fees or, you know, that's going to be part of the settlement. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It gets really dark really fast if you really think about it. You know what I mean?
Yep. And that's kind of where I was going, was kind of the dark place of the actors, you know, and this is going, like I said, crediting the New York Times article. The Actors Guild hopping on with the Writers Guild in support of them for striking, because they're kind of like, well, if they're not writing, I can't act, so I need a job too, and if they're not writing, you know, it screws my job. Which we kind of agreed with. Now what is happening is now that this is getting settled with the Writers Guild, the actors are now coming in with their demands for more money for screen time and yada 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 in this whole situation. So now that it's over with the Writers Guild, the actors are going to start asking for more now.
Yeah.
These are people that are billionaires.
I feel like that's like a really touchy subject though, because like I think I don't know. There's really big name shows. Like obviously there's billionaires. Yes, there's like the Tom Cruises and all of these big names who get millions of dollars just to show up on the screen for 5 minutes. But there's also like no, I don't think there's a very good baseline, especially when you pretty much have to live in LA to do these things. I want to say it was Stranger Things that was like the example that I heard. And then like there was a lot of other big name shows like on the same plane that were like chiming in. And they're like, everybody had to like pay for themselves to get to set. The studio didn't pay for them to get to set. So they're using their money to get to set, and then they have to use their money to live in LA. And then they all have jobs outside of the show because they don't make enough from the show to even live in LA. And it's just like yeah, there are millionaires, there's billionaires, there's all kinds of rich people in Hollywood, but I feel like we focus too much on that and we don't see the people who like we watch every week on TV and we think they have all this money, but they're like struggling just like everybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and which is, at that point, then I feel like if you're an actor, a main actor in Stranger Things, and you're struggling, then it's probably a bad deal, and it has to be something with the managers and the studio.
I think Orange is the New Black too.
Those actors are kind of getting taken advantage of.
Yeah,
but that could just be a non-educated manager, themselves not being good with business, them thinking, oh, this sounds like a good deal because it's a lot of money, so yeah, I'll take it for that, or however that ends up working. But I think the main thing is the ratio from what the writers were getting paid and royalties and all that stuff, because they weren't getting royalties, what the writers were getting paid versus what the actors are getting paid is much, much, much more.
Oh yeah.
So and it's the same thing for those writers, because a lot of those writers, they're on set. Robert Kirkman, he wrote The Walking Dead. He's been on set plenty of times, making sure that things were going smoothly. That The Walking Dead was his baby. He wanted to make sure that it was, they were doing it justice and stuff like that. So all those people still need to go to set and still have those same expenses that the actors do. They just aren't on film.
Yeah, I just don't think we need to like make it. I think it's happening on both sides a little bit. It's like the writers are kind of like sounding. It sounds like the writers, at least some of them, I don't know how the writers themselves feel, but it sounds like on the outside, it's like, well, you're stepping on my toes, man. Like, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Or, well, like, the actors are like, well, you got yours, let me get mine. It's not like, it's two different unions and stuff like that, but, like, it's all one family. Like, without the writers, there aren't actors. Without the actors, there's not writers, and so on and so forth. Right. And I think we need to stop like looking at like the big dollar sign and look at the small one with it and close that gap a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think that's what I thought this whole goal for the strike was to close that gap and get because if the actors are up here in pay rate and the writers are down here in pay rate, it's to close this gap and to get the writers to go up. So now that the writers are getting closer to that level playing field, now the actors are just going to go, oh, you're too close.
But that's what I'm saying.
I don't think paid the same ratio. If you get paid 1/10 of what I'm getting paid now, it should stay that way.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think that's how we need to think about it. Like, and I'm
like that's
like
how
I said,
are.
I'm not saying like we don't know what's happening. You know what I mean? We're speculating from the outside.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like the writers are down here and the actors are up here. Like there's writers up here too, and there's actors down here. Like we need to close all of the gaps. We need to make it. Obviously, like there's experience, and if you put Brad Pitt in a movie is gonna bring more draw, or at one
Mm.
point at least. I don't know if it does now, but
Yeah, and you
like
kind
they
of have
bring
to
more
work your
draw,
way
so
up
on and
the
so
guild.
forth. But like, there shouldn't be, in my opinion, there shouldn't be somebody who does 20 minutes in a movie and can live for 17 years on it. Well, there's people who are main character TV show every week who can't even like live without getting a second job. You know what I mean?
Right.
I
Yeah.
think I think there needs to be just I think it needs to be updated and brought into the current century on all accounts. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, because
it
the
doesn't
royalties
matter.
just aren't enough, and that's quite frankly, ad revenues and ad royalties and stuff like that is frankly how TV shows and stuff make money and get paid. They're for the last forever, since TV was invented. I mean, yeah, we pay our monthly cable bill for whatever, but I feel like that's nothing in comparison to probably what they're getting.
But I mean, that was the big thing. Other than AI, that was like the big thing about this strike in the first place. Is people don't have cable anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all these contracts are still based on people watching TV, on cable. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There
Yeah,
there
that,
aren't
that was.
there
I
is
guess
not
that's the point that I was trying to make.
right.
Yeah.
There is no commercial revenue anymore. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's where we need to find the modern equivalent. You know what I mean? And if streaming services like Netflix and Hulu aren't willing to play ball, like, we need to get rid of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I agree.
I'm not the dude to be like, screw this big business, blah 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 blah. Like, whatever. It is what it is. I wish everybody got paid more equally, but like, at the end of the day, like, I use Netflix all the time. You know what I mean? I don't feel like I can talk out my butt about a company and then use it every day. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, all these people who talk about Amazon, like, feel how you want about Amazon, but if you have packages showing up every day, like, why are you talking? You know what I mean? Like, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like, if these companies, there's a reason this strike is happening, and if like you stand on one side of the strike or another, like, you need to back it up. You know what I mean? Like, when the strike, no, the unions haven't gone in and been like, yo, we need everybody to cancel their streaming services, don't participate, don't watch, blah blah blah. They said, like, carry on, do your thing. If this needs to happen, we'll let you know.
Right.
And so I'm a person that, if they would have been like, this strike relies on you not watching Netflix, like, I don't need Netflix. You know what I mean? There's other things.
Yeah.
But until they say that, like, I don't know what's happening in the background of Netflix, so I can't say anything. And until, like, I don't have an opinion on it. That being said, like I said, if they're not willing to play ball, like, if they're not willing to pay people for the content, like, then something needs to be done. You know what I mean? So
Right. And I think a lot of it has to do with, the which I guess is the biggest question that we've had this whole time is what does it come down to per stream,
yeah,
per hour watched, per minute watched, whatever, because everybody's paying a price that keeps going up,
right.
to watch some good stuff, some not so good stuff, but everybody's paying the same price. So when one person watches it, like Spotify, and for music, like, that stuff isn't withheld. We know that per stream we get paid 1/8 of a cent. That is crap, but that's what it is, and it's public. I think that's one of the most important key things, is that, like, I feel that if they're afraid to put out the pay rate per stream, it's got to be pretty ridiculous, the money that they're generating per stream.
See, now, this is where I get confused because now I might be ignorant to certain things, and I probably am because I don't work at Netflix, or you know what I mean? Like, but all of the articles that I've read and things I've heard about Netflix is they're basically always broke because they're always turning the income into more content, whether it's a Netflix exclusive or buying the rights to this movie for 6 months or whatever that may be. But I feel like if that's the case, it's not necessarily a Netflix issue as much as like the money from Netflix isn't going where it needs to go after it leaves Netflix. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like it's the label situation in the music industry.
Yes,
you know,
I think when I say Netflix, that we kind of generalize most streaming services as Netflix, you know, but Netflix is just the main example that I guess is easiest to say.
But I mean, I'm not saying that it's us saying it. Everybody's saying it, and you know, is this happening on Netflix exclusives? Like, are they making Netflix exclusives and not paying their actors and not paying their writers? Just like, you know,
well, Netflix knows that fee.
Netflix knows it's not going to TV. You know what I mean? Netflix knows there's not commercials. Netflix knows this. You know what I mean? It's not the same as like Sony can't put XYZ movie on TV because nobody's watching it. Like, Netflix knows. You know what I mean?
Right.
So what does their contracts look like? Because they can't have, they don't have commercial rights. They don't have commercial ads. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the main issue was their contracts look something like a flat rate for writing the show, and then that's it. You know, so I think that was a big part of it. While the actors got their royalties, so not only did they get their guarantee at the end of the day, you know, at the end of shooting the season, however they get paid every 3 months, whatever. When they got their guarantee, I'm losing my train of thought. I just heard something.
There's basically sounds like there's no incentive after you get your flat rate. Like, that TV show, like, let's use Stranger Things again. Yeah, like, let's use Stranger Things again. Like, they're going to pay people bad because they don't know if that TV show is going to be popular or not. But if they write a 3-season contract, then that show's amazing and everybody watches it. They're not getting paid more for 3 seasons. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly
right
the point that I was trying to make. You know, that's sad that's kind of happening, you know, because the actors get in the main characters all get to share in the success of the show. I found a guy on TikTok that was the neighbor of Johnny Lawrence in Cobra Kai for one episode, and it was him opening the door and like telling them to shut up, and he gets like a $50 to $500 check every month from royalties from Netflix.
Now, was that early season or was that a later season?
I believe it's a second season.
Really?
Yeah, I believe it could have even been third season. I believe it's second season. It's 100% second season.
That doesn't sound like first season pay. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, you know, that's kind of that's my point. But this guy, he's an actor. He said one line,
right?
You know, and he's like, and I get $500 randomly to show up because I went to the studio for a day, said one line, and walked out.
Yeah,
you know, and it blows my mind that the people that wrote the show aren't getting to share in that kind of success. You know, I feel like having lucrative, you know, just passive income like that is nice, and people, you know, at the end of the day, that's what you should be trying to like kind of set yourself up for. You know, and they are struggling to because they don't get that opportunity or haven't.
And this doesn't even include special effects artists because they don't have a union. So they just get, you know, the Spider-Verse stories and, you know, all that stuff is like, I don't know.
You would think they get paid pretty well, but Who knows?
They also
at
get
this
treated the
point.
worst, because
Do they?
they're always the ones at the last minute is like, hey, we want to
Oh.
change this entire scene, fix it. You know what I mean?
Flash.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then when it looks like butt, they're all ripped apart on it, But
Well, that's like,
jokes on them. They had 24 hours.
That's like, what is it, Scorpion King, one of The Rock's first movies?
Yeah.
I think it was Scorpion King. And there's like a horrible CG shot in there of The Rock, and it looks horrible. And the Corridor crew had the dude in charge of that shot on the other day. And they're like, we have Dwayne Johnson on set for one day. He wasn't in all these movies at that point, so we didn't have anything to go off of other than that one day's worth of shots.
Right.
And at the last, in the last stretch, they're like, hey, fix this, change this, do this. So it's like, you get the shot that you get. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're not getting paid well. I don't know.
Yeah, at a certain, not for last minute changes like that.
I mean, I feel like behind the curtain a little bit, I feel like a lot of them are getting paid better than I am. But I mean, it's different. You know what I mean? I feel like if I want to, it's very much like one of those things where, like, if you want to get paid more, like, you need to get the people ahead of you paid more, because otherwise you don't have anything to talk about. You know what I mean? It's like if your manager at work isn't getting paid well and you're not getting paid well, you can't ask for more money because your manager doesn't make more than you. You know what I mean?
Right.
But everybody complains because the managers make so much more money. Like, they are a manager. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the whole, I don't know if it's worldwide or countrywide or what it is wide, but, like, we need to figure out, like, it's 2023. You know what I mean? Not everybody's listening to, like, their shows on the radio anymore. You know what I mean? It's like there's not families gathering around one black and white TV every night to watch sitcoms. That's not how life works.
Right. We're on TikTok for 15 seconds of video.
Yeah.
And not talking to anybody. Unfortunately. But
yeah, there's a lot of things that are a mess. I hope this tentative agreement works out well for them. At the end of the day, we can complain about whatever we want, but we saw it during COVID. Like, a lot of these things are escapes for people who live a mundane, I don't know if that's the right word, but, like, this life where, like, they go to work every day, come home every day, the same thing over and over and over. And that movie that you get to watch is an escape. You know what I mean? So the video game that you watch is an escape. The comic that you read is an escape. You know what I mean? So if all these go away, like, we're just living that great life. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, outside of the channel alone, like, obviously for reasons we want movies to continue for the channel.
Right.
But also, like, without the movies, it's just like, what am I gonna do? Look at my wall every day? Like, I'm gonna look at my wife every day? Like, what the hell?
Am I gonna go socialize?
No,
like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
But yeah, and I guess one more point that kind of wanted to point out, is that it especially during the strike, it's probably pretty hard for them, because especially when you're trying to first get your feet wet with being a writer and trying to get hired and stuff like that. You might see a decent lump sum of money, could be, $300,000, but you could not write another thing, or what you write might not get picked up for another 3 years, so now you have to make that $300,000, which you're only going to take home half of that, because of taxes. Yep. So you have $150,000 to last you 3 years. That's $50,000 a year, which they say is supposed to be enough, but I know that the statistic is showing right now that families that make $80,000 a year are still struggling to put food on the table.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's also just taxes, because then you gotta talk about, like, union dues, agents.
Yep.
If you wrote it with anybody, the number that you see people make is not the number that they're making, especially in Hollywood. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah, and if I'm sure they have a manager, so there's another.
Yeah,
20%.
the manager gets 10% after taxes at least.
Yeah.
So you're basically you're taking 60% of whatever they're making, and then that's just a couple hands in the pocket. There's more, but
Right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but hopefully we can get through this. Hopefully the actors can kind of get through theirs, because my prediction is that the Actors Guild is only going to make it worse for the Writers Guild, and the writers are going to be like, well, now I'm definitely not going back to work if they're getting more.
Yeah.
Like when they're sitting here just struggling to feel like part of the team. Realistically.
Yeah.
Why does the directors, why does everybody else get to participate in the success? Why does the main actor get to participate in the success when they showed up and they might have worked and got their lines down and did their thing, but they didn't write the show.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't produce it. They didn't direct it. They didn't. Realistically, another actor could probably be standing there, and if you never would have seen that first actor, it wouldn't have even mattered.
Yeah. I mean, I think that works in some situations. I think there's a few situations.
When you're talking about, mainly streaming services and streaming service shows,
yeah,
they get pretty, semi-big names, or if they're not a big name, they're a pretty good actor. Taking Stranger Things, for example.
Yeah.
All of those actors are really amazing actors.
I mean, it's been a minute now, but I've listened to a lot of basically online classes, podcasts, instructional, but I've directed this and this is how I did it. This is how I recommend you do it kind of stuff. And everybody is like, that one actor, you pay them this percentage, and if you can't get them, then you have to find somebody else equal to them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think a lot of them are, you spend the money on at least one big actor, they get the people in the door, and then you don't pay anybody else. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We gotta figure it out. We don't have to do anything. I hope they figure it out.
Right. Yeah, I hope they figure it out so I can go see more movies after we go and see Craven, and which is next month, a couple weeks, and Aquaman.
Mm-hmm.
So,
are we even gonna watch Aquaman at this point?
I'm gonna watch it. And then I'm gonna run out of there going, Lobo!
We'll see how it goes. All right, man. I think that's enough talking about the strike until we have more information.
Yeah, I think
what do you
that's
think?
about it. We talked about almost about an hour here.
Yeah.
About this whole thing. So I think that's pretty good. I think we did our job talking about it and sticking our noses in it.
We did our job. Pay us. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. Yeah. Come to Whatnot.
Yeah, I feel like we could talk about it a little bit longer, but we're gonna start repeating ourselves.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, how much more can you talk about the strike? We're happy that it's ending. Ending. Hopefully. Yeah. I what I think is gonna happen is that it's gonna prolong, and then it's gonna be this. Oh, now you're done. Oh, okay. Now I'm gonna strike. Oh, now you're done. Now I'm gonna strike.
Yeah.
We're never gonna get there if that keeps happening. So somebody's gonna have to take a pay cut. Actors.
Yeah. I mean, I don't get paid to figure out the answer to this. I don't have the answer.
Oh, we got the answer.
I feel like the floor needs to be lifted, and I mean the top is always going to be there's no lid on it. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter.
Peel the muffin cap back blue.
Check the description for things like free money using our link to sign up for Whatnot. Get $10 to use anywhere on Whatnot. Use code Collective Comics at checkout. W.GG. Get your generous energy 10% off. And until next time, this has been Collective Comics.
Peel that muffin cap back blue. We'll see ya.